Eboso. Is it Eboso or Eboso?
Eboso.
Awesome. Yeah, so now Anne is the founder of Rusinga Festival, and we're here talking about Rusinga Festival as a vehicle for cultural revival. And how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Are you ready for the holidays?
Yes, I am. And thanks for having me, by the way, in the show.
Karibu. Any day. Yeah. So how's your day, Lakini?
My day was okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What's it got for you?
Yeah. Now, of course, looking forward towards the festival, which is also happening this month.
Yeah.
So December is a kind of special month for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're getting ready for the festival, the preps, how long does it take? When
the festival
prepping?
preparations actually start very much earlier in the year because for festival to happen, you really need resources to ensure the festival happen.
Yeah.
So these preparations start very much earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Reaching out to different stakeholders, whether they are, partners, in-kind partners, financial partners, the different participants in the festival, whether it's the artist. So there is a lot of preparation around it, yes.
I can imagine. So for folks who do not know you, would you just tell us what you do, and who you are, of course, and why you like to do what you do? Twende kazi.
Okay. So my name is Eboso. I am a lover of literature and cultures, and I am also a great advocate of cultural heritage. It's for this reason that I started Rusinga Cultural Festival, which is, by the way, a vibe. If you've never attended, it happens every last Thursday and Friday before Christmas.
Nice.
And on Rusinga Island, and it is a festival that celebrates the culture of the Basuba people, whose language is listed as endangered by UNESCO.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, listed in there. We're actually on the red list of endangered languages 2003.
Red list?
Yes, red list.
Oh, okay.
Completely endangered, yeah.
Is it Luo?
No, Suba is not Luo. Suba is Bantu.
Yeah, because I know people usually, John Baddy's from those sides, isn't it?
Yes, he's Suba.
He's Suba.
Yes.
So technically he's not really Luo.
Yes, he's not Luo. He's Suba. So the Abasuba have been assimilated by the Luo.
Oh, wow, look at that. That's
so that is why a lot of them identify as Luos.
Yeah, maybe you can tell folks where Rusinga Island is.
Rusinga Island is in Homa Bay County.
Yeah.
Yes, a very beautiful county.
Yeah.
So if you've never visited it, it's time to Tembea Western, Tembea Homa Bay.
I've actually been to Homa Bay. It's a pretty awesome place to hang out. Yeah, so maybe you can tell us, what inspired you to actually start this festival?
Oh, so I'll probably say that by giving you a very shocking statistic. So a lot of people don't know that languages disappear. Every single day there are languages that are disappearing. And actually, according to UNESCO, every 2 weeks, a language disappears.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
And there are about 7,000 languages in the world currently. And if every 2 weeks a language disappears, it is estimated that in the next century, half of the already existing languages would have disappeared.
Yeah.
And when a language disappears, you know what happens when a language disappears?
A people also disappear.
In a way, yes.
The culture and the heritage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So every cultural practices associated or expressions associated with that particular language disappear. So be it the oral traditions, be it the identity, because even in terms of identity, that involves the naming system. So the way you name your people disappears.
Yeah.
Your identity as a people disappears. Your cultural expression disappears. Songs, dances. You can imagine even those lullaby songs that you sing in your language disappears.
Wow.
Because now there is no transmission of the same because the language has disappeared. And when this now happens, it affects people in many different ways. So apart from the language disappearing, you as a people are affected and then your representation disappears. So a lot of this end up affecting your socio-economic well-being as a community.
So when you say disappear, to me it also feels like the languages evolve. You know what I mean? Because of a lot of factors like, intermarriages, the internet, like for example in Nairobi now, the Sheng. Like even in America, apparently like there's all this new terminologies of, typical words like, they're actually even in the dictionary, So I also think it's the evolution of language, I guess. You can also put it like that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
But evolution of the languages does not mean the death of other languages. So they can exist concurrently.
Yeah.
While this is evolving, you can identify still with your local language and then with this other evolved language.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be presented like as a competition of sorts, like because evolution is happening in this side, so let the death of other parts disappear, happen so that evolution can thrive.
Right.
They can both thrive in the same space.
Yeah, I'm curious, by the way, talk about your background. Have you always been passionate about this kind of stuff, like, culture, heritage, you know what I mean, the environment, people, and, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I think I've always been passionate about this. I call myself a woman of many cultures. So I was born to Luo parents, but in Luo land, surrounded by Luo culture.
Yeah.
So I grew up in both cultures and appreciating the cultures and knowing that two cultures can coexist together and still make the world beautiful. And I also believe that the diversity of people is what makes the world beautiful. The more diverse we are, culturally diverse, the more beautiful it is to live in a world like this. So, and then I got married to a Suba man and then realized there was this struggles around the Suba identity and the Suba cultural heritage. And because of the factors that I'd mentioned about a dying language, one of them affecting identity. So when I started having sons, I thought, like, how can I, as a woman, get into this space, plug it and make it make it easy for my children to have a cultural identity as well without feeling the conflict of not knowing who they are. So that is why the festival was born.
That's amazing. So, yes. Yeah. So let's talk about the founding process. How was it like? Walk us through the whole journey. I mean, what did you actually first do? Who did you go to? How did you actually manifest the idea? And when was this?
So way many years back, that was way back in 2012. I think the founding process started around 2011 because the first edition happened in December of 2012. And like any project on your funding, there has to be a gap that you're filling.
Yeah.
So the gap for us, for this particular gap, was what was the festival going to fill? We are looking at contributing to the growing of the cultural heritage of the Basuba community. So there was already a gap. There was already statistics by UNESCO indicating that the Suba language had been already enlisted as an endangered language.
Yeah.
So what are these? How could we revive it? So already with the gap in place, then what are the objectives that the festival needed to meet? So had that. And then most important part in the process was community involvement and participation.
Right.
So reaching out to different stakeholders within the community, different voices within the community. So the elderly, the young, the women, the youth, reaching out to them and seeing if this festival was to happen, what are the kind of things that we need to address and things like that, so that everybody gets ownership of that. So that is actually one of the things I'm really proud about in the process.
Yeah.
The other parts of the process are now much more technical, like figuring out what is the name of the festival, what is this, what is that. So those are other technicalities. But the key important ones are the first that I've said: identifying what the gap is, how are you going to fill this gap, and then creating the objectives and around how to fill this gap. But then involving the community so that these objectives are not one-sided. It's objectives that are being contributed upon by the community.
Now you talk about community very passionately.
Yes.
I'm curious. So when you look at, because when you engage with the community, what does it actually symbolize about the community? What are some of the things that they're actually going to showcase in the festival? And also, how does it relate to Kenya's larger cultural landscape?
So for the community, there are multiple activities being done by the community because the festival itself has a lot of community aspects. So we are showcasing our traditional sports, for example, the boat races.
Oh, interesting.
You're having the wrestling, you're having the tug of wars, you're having the board games, and all these are being done by the community members. So you're having different people within the community participating in areas, in areas that would be of interest to them or have their expertise in. So then there is the food waste, and you're having women showcasing, preparing food in the way they know how the information that was transmitted to them by their grandmothers or their mothers when they were growing up, and in turn, as they are preparing this food, they get an opportunity to interact with the younger generation and also share this kind of information with them. You're having cultural performances, like you're having the performing arts, the songs, dances, and all this is part of a communal process. And by the way, we are the first community in Kenya to have a community anthem.
No way. No way.
Hopefully you'll get to play it
Pioneers.
before the end.
You know what? Not even about playing. You sing for us like a stanza.
No. Allow me not to sing it now.
Okay. Is it on
because I
YouTube?
want to, yes, it is. But
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
But you're going to. You'll just.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes. So we have a community
yeah,
anthem that's
beautiful.
showing the pride in our culture,
Yeah.
our tribe, our various facets of our culture.
That's
So there is
amazing.
that.
You guys
So
are
there is
pioneers.
community participation throughout and through. In terms of even the preparation all the way to the execution of the festival.
Yeah.
So there is a community behind that. There
Yeah.
is an ownership of the festival in terms of that.
Yeah. That's amazing. And what about in relation to the country's cultural landscape?
Aha.
Yeah.
That is a very good question because in our constitution, our constitution recognizes that Kenya is a multicultural society, and there are different communities living in Kenya, and the purpose of it is to appreciate the unity in diversity. So once one culture, for example, the Suba, we appreciate our culture, we extend that. It shows in the national landscape, like we can have, because the people who come to the festival are not just the Suba people.
Right.
We are having people coming from all over the country and different parts of the world to come and experience this culture and sample it and, just understand how this culture is. And that is the same thing we also tell the Suba community. They also get to experience different other cultures out there.
Yeah.
The Rusinga festival itself is provides a platform for cultural exchange. So we've hosted different communities in the festival. So we've had Luo performances, we have Luya performances, we've had Burundi dramas coming in. So we've had different communities participating in the festival. And this just shows the way we are also open to integrating with everyone in the country. And this also now tells us how it's important in the national landscape, like unity in diversity.
I agree. And I'm sure the area is also becoming a bit cosmopolitan,
yes,
like you said. There's other communities that live in the island. Mm-hmm. I'm curious also, what are some of the concerns of the residents and the community with regards to the festival? Or what are the concerns? I mean, it's been 14 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are their fears, for example? Maybe you can elaborate for us.
I wouldn't say it's fear per se, but probably some concerns. Like I've mentioned, like the Suba and endangered. The Suba language is listed as endangered in the UNESCO Red Book of Endangered Languages, and this means there are a lot of Suba people who do not speak the Suba language, and because of assimilation, majority speak the Luo language. So some of the concerns that we've gotten, because we are a festival trying to promote the Suba language, but using a different language in promoting this, because the language that the majority understand is the Luo language. But we are still saying that the Suba community exists as an independent community, but in as much as we all don't speak the Suba language, we are really proud of our culture. We are really proud of the space we are in, and we identify as the Suba community. So those are some of the concerns that have been like, why don't we have more Suba speaking in the festival? And it is a journey of 1,000 miles always starts with a single step. So when we started this 14 years ago, we didn't even know some of the words, but over the time, we are a part of, online platforms that teach the Suba language. We've had on our social media platforms sharing different translation of Suba words so people can start internalizing, feeling about that. We have the Suba anthem. So talking about the pride. Step. So we've had many strides. We've made many strides in between the process. But this concern would be, one of the concerns would be around the language aspect.
Yeah. And so, the topic of this conversation is, of course, a cultural revival, in the context of, just reviving exactly what has been there. It almost felt as if, the Suba language was going to be completely assimilated. So in your own words and in your own perspective, what does cultural revival actually mean in this context of the festival?
I think cultural revival is trying to reactivate or something that is on the verge of collapse or or trying to strengthen something that is weakened. So in our case, in the case of the festival, it's trying to strengthen this Suba language that was on the verge of being weakened because of the assimilation factor. So now cultural revival and language being a vehicle for a lot of our cultural expressions. So when you revive that part, you're able to revive other aspects of it. Like now you see the songs, for example, you're able to piece together the words to create the song. You're able to think through what are some of our traditional, what are our stories, for example, oral tradition. What's our history? Then there is, where did we come from? How was the journey? How did we come here? And how did assimilation happen? So a lot of this now comes into play when you already start by reviving something that was already dying, because a lot of these conversations will not come into place if somebody was not already trying to revive this, because it now gives questions. Even different stakeholders get to understand, you mean Suba is an independent language? It's a Bantu language? It's not Luo? Or people getting in, oh, so there is a community that is called Suba. Like when I was in school, I didn't know Suba was a standalone community. I learned Suba to be, the Luo came in, the fourth group was as the Luo Abasuba. So you see, every day is a day for learning, relearning, and continuing. Learning never ends.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's definitely every day is a learning experience. Yeah,
you mentioned stakeholders. How does the county government of Homa Bay, come into this festival? What role do they play?
So currently, and I don't think it's only
I'm sure
unique to it's only unique to Rusinga Island, for example, and the Abasuba, for example. But the culture is a devolved function. So ideally, with its devolution, county governments are supposed to do, and this is just not even just Homa Bay alone, the 47 counties need to be more deeply involved in cultural activities by different stakeholders within their county governments. But I think this process has still not been properly internalized by a lot of our county governments. So there is always some bit of disconnect in terms of what kind of support stakeholders need to get within working in the cultural space within the county governments. But we've had county government participating in the fact they are very much aware of the festival. One of the roles they do as a county government is provide licenses for any event happening in the county. So already by just even providing the licenses to ensure you already have your festival is a very good a sign of goodwill in terms of that. But yes, more can be done, but more can be done, but that is also a journey. So it's a process that we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
I agree. So I'll hold it right there. We're coming back with this conversation. I've got the one and only Anne Eboso. She's the founder of Rusinga Festival, and we're talking about reclaiming identity. Rusinga Festival as a vehicle for cultural revival. And right now, it's 19 minutes to 8. I told you, Nazi's on deck, featuring Miss Lauren Hill. It's called If I Rule the World. Tonikazi, good evening.